Good morning from Toronto. My name is John Kyo, and welcome to another series called A Focus on Vietnam. In this 10 by 10 series, I'll speak with 10 experts for 10 minutes on different aspects of living, working, and doing business in Vietnam. And today I'm delighted to have with me Gabor Fluit. Gabor is the MD and CEO of the House in Asia. Hi, Gabor.
Hi, good morning.
Now, Gabor, the time goes very, very quickly. So, in the first minute or so, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also about the house in Asia?
Yeah, sure. I arrived here in Vietnam in 2008, 13 years ago, to start up the business for the Heus in Vietnam. The Heus is a family-owned animal feed producer. So we are active in the field of producing feeds for swine, poultry, ruminants, aqua. And after setting up the business first in Vietnam, we were able to expand the business into other markets. And as one of the few companies, I think we have our regional head office also here in Vietnam because of the reason that this was where it all started. And I'm also happy to have a Vietnamese wife. So we live together here and have three nice kids with us as well.
Oh, wonderful. So 13 years ago, so you're not one of the first pioneers in Vietnam, but definitely the second wave, and you've built a very successful business in Vietnam and across Asia. What were the initial challenges like in setting up in Vietnam?
I think when we started, well, the advantage and the disadvantage was that we didn't know too much. So we were quite opportunistic coming here. We saw the big opportunity, big market, also in our field of business. When we started at first, it was challenging to find the right people, people you can trust, who can help you to build up the business. And it was also initially quite complicated to get all the paperwork in place, all the licenses and procedures. Nowadays, it's much more smooth, but back then, having the one-stop shop industrial zones, it was quite a new phenomenon, and you really had to go to a number of desks to get started. But we managed to do so, and we were also a bit lucky to find very good, loyal local Vietnamese colleagues who joined the business at an early stage, and in most cases are still working with us.
So you said that things have gotten easier from a regulatory perspective, getting permits and everything. How have you seen that evolve over the last decade?
In my experience, every new cycle of government, so every 5 years there's a new government, every 5 years it gets better. So I think what the government tends to do is they try to listen very well to the business community, both to the Vietnamese business community, but also to the foreign business community that is quite well organized through organizations like Eurocham and AmCham, BritCham, etc. And the Vietnamese, they started to realize about a decade ago, they really started to realize if we want to attract more investment into this country, we need to improve and we need to listen better to what business says. And back then, businesses said, okay, a lot of red tape, a lot of slow bureaucratic procedures, doing your taxes online, arranging your customs, many practical things, and they start tackling many of these aspects. And today it's not perfect, of course, still a lot to improve, but compared to when I started, it's a huge difference.
Oh, fantastic!
Positively.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Now, is your business primarily in Vietnam? In other words, do you produce for the Vietnamese market, or do you produce also for the Asian market from Vietnam?
Yeah, we have 9 production units in Vietnam, and approximately 95% of what we produce here is actually for the local market. And we have some specialty products that are being exported into other Asian markets and also to Africa, mainly for fish feeds. But of course, we have also our production hubs in countries like Indonesia, Cambodia, Myanmar, India as well. So yeah, it's mainly for the local market, what we're doing in Vietnam.
Wonderful. And Gabor, as a foreigner coming into Vietnam and certainly working at the foundation level of the food industry, providing feed for animals, is there a perception that the expertise you're bringing in is very valuable, the IP, the knowledge?
Yeah, I think so. I think when we started, you mentioned it already, we were not the first. So when we came into Vietnam in 2008, there were already a number of other foreign companies also in our business from America, from Japan, Korea, from France. So we were definitely not the first, but we have experienced, and we still experience that Vietnamese are very eager to learn, really interested, sincerely interested in the latest developments in terms of technological improvements. Um, and still today, we try to bring best practices of other countries into Vietnam. It used to be a lot of coming from the Netherlands, from our head office, but nowadays it has become a more global world, and we have also sometimes specialists from Brazil or from Poland helping out in Vietnam, and vice versa. We also send our Vietnamese specialists all over the world to help new businesses starting up. So it's no longer a one-way street, but definitely the technological support is really appreciated a lot here.
Wonderful. Now you mentioned you were very lucky to get employees that you could trust and help them scale up and skill up. How many employees do you have in Vietnam, and are there ongoing challenges with maintaining the workforce? Do you see a lot of people leaving? Are you constantly recruiting?
Yeah, so we have around 2,000 employees today in our own company and also in one of our joint ventures combined. So quite a group. We when we started recruiting when we started up the business. We mainly started looking for people who were like a bit the number two in their existing larger company. So experienced and very ambitious, and who wanted to have the chance to become and responsible in our company. And they have done, most of them, they really did a great job, and they grew with the business, and they're still there today. In some cases, of course, because we grow so fast, we have to recruit also people from outside. But we do quite well in terms of retention, so we don't have a big turnover, and we feel that also if you compare it with other Asian countries, actually Vietnamese don't really choose only for money. Of course, you need to pay them properly, you need to pay them well, but the place where they work, being proud of where they work, being respected, having the chance to develop themselves, to learn new things, is as important or even more important for many employees. So if you can offer that as an employer, you have a very good chance of retaining people and developing them into new roles. And our Asia management team consists for 2/3 of Vietnamese managers who made the step from Vietnam into even a regional role.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. So, on that note, what guidance would you give now as an executive to other executives who are considering Vietnam for FDI to help, they want to develop new products, set up manufacturing or distribution in Vietnam? What were the key tips that you would give them with regard to maybe people to start with, and then maybe dealing with a regulatory system?
Yeah. I think in terms of people, my experience always has been you can really, I think that's a general advice, but really recruit for let's say the character of the person rather than only the CV and their experience. There are many Vietnamese who are relatively young, but who are really ready to take on more responsibility. So our management teams always have been quite young relative to other countries. That's also because the population is, of course, still relatively young. So don't be too afraid to give young, talented people responsibilities. This would be my first advice. Secondly, also don't overpromise. Right? Be realistic in what you can offer people, and tell them that they have to prove themselves. They have to grow with the company. We used to have sometimes not as good experience if we would hire very experienced people who were at a different level of thinking and mindset than the rest of the team. So it's also very important in Vietnam to think about which people do you need in your team that are a good fit together, because the team spirit and the team mechanism is in Vietnam even more important, I think, than in many other countries, because Vietnamese feel at work it's part of their family. So business and private life are not as separated as what we are used to, for example, in Europe or the US, I think. So if you feel your colleagues at work as your family, then you can imagine that you have to be able to have a good relationship with each other to also perform well.
It's fantastic guidance, Gabor, and you summed it up there really, really well. In the final 30 seconds or so, what do you love about living in Vietnam?
Many things, of course, but I think it's the atmosphere of always a lot of energy around me. There's always energy. There are always people very positive. Many people are smiling, and many people have always new ideas. And people also, besides the hard work, they also enjoy life. So that's great.
Wonderful. Folks, there you go. There you have it, all the way from Vietnam. Gabor Fluit, the MD, CEO of the House in Asia. Gabor, thank you so much for taking time to share some of your wisdom with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome.